I wore my mother's dream dress to my wedding. I woke up in the ICU with my marriage already in crisis. Have you ever sacrificed your well-being to make someone else happy, only to lose everything in the process? For 2 years, my mother talked about nothing but my wedding, specifically her mother's vintage wedding gown that I had to wear. The dress was beautiful, no doubt, delicate lace, intricate beadwork, and a silhouette that was fashionable in 1952 when my grandmother wore it. It was also a size 2. I am a healthy size 10. You have plenty of time to slim down, my mother would say, pinching my waist. Don't you want to honor her memory? Every time I suggested alterations or a different dress, my mother's eyes would fill with tears. Your grandmother's dying wish was to see you in this dress. Since she can't be here, this is all I have left. My grandmother had indeed mentioned the dress before she passed, but as a suggestion, not a mandate. Yet somehow in my mother's grief, it had transformed into an unbreakable promise. My fiancé Jake noticed my increasing anxiety as the wedding approached. Babe, you've barely eaten in weeks, he said one night. This isn't healthy, but I was determined. I hired a personal trainer, followed 800-calorie diet, and took diet pills I ordered online. In 6 months, I lost 42 pounds. The final fitting was still tight, but the seamstress assured me she could let out the seams slightly on my wedding day. It took 3 bridesmaids to squeeze me into the dress. I couldn't take a deep breath, but my mother's face when she saw me, pure joy and tears made it. During the ceremony, the church felt increasingly hot. Jake kept glancing at me with concern as I swayed slightly. Just as we were about to exchange rings, the room started spinning. I heard gasps as my body crumpled to the floor. I woke up in the ICU 3 days later. The doctors explained. I had suffered severe electrolyte imbalance and cardiac complications from extreme dieting and dehydration. I had been unconscious through what should have been my wedding reception and honeymoon. Jake was beside my bed, his eyes red from crying. Why didn't you tell me how bad it was? He asked. We could have stood up to your mom together. My mother visited only once, bringing fashion magazines. Once you are better, we can rush Jill. The photographer says he can edit the ceremony photos to make it look perfect. Jake asked her to leave. That night he told me he wasn't sure our marriage could survive if I couldn't prioritize my health over my mother's expectations. I didn't marry you for your dress size, he said. I almost lost you over a piece of fabric. 6 months later, after intensive therapy, both physical and psychological, Jake and I had a private ceremony. I wore a simple dress that fit my recovered body perfectly. My mother didn't attend. The photos from that day show something my first wedding couldn't capture. A bride who could breathe, smile, and move freely both in her dress and in her life. Sometimes the most important person to say no to is the one whose approval you've spent your whole life seeking.